Bizarre Brain Comics. Gary here for Bizarre Brain Comics once again. Hello. Well, last time we talked about Captain America. Well, I got another captain for you today. This time, the Marvel Comics Captain Mar-vell number 4 from 1968. And this, of course, features Captain Mar-vell and Namor the Submariner. And if you watched the MCU's Captain Mar-vell movie from just a couple of years ago, you might find this little drawing are different if that's all your exposure to this character, because this is not the Carol Danvers Captain Mar-vell. This is Captain Mar-vell of the Kree Empire, who became known as Captain Mar-vell. And also features, this issue also features Namor the Submariner. Now, so a lot of people get this Captain Mar-vell confused with the DC Captain Mar-vell, which was originally Fawcett Captain Mar-vell. There's no, other than the similarity in name, there is no relationship between the two. And over the copyright problems, DC has completely dumped the Captain Mar-vell name, and that Captain Mar-vell is just known now as Shazam. Now let's talk about this for my book of knowledge. Captain Mar-vell Captain Mar-vell. His first appearance was in Marvel Comics, Marvel Superheroes, number 12 from 1967. It's created by Stan Lee and Gene Colan and Roy Thomas. And Stan Lee's contribution probably limited to, hey, create a character that we can use the name Captain Mar-vell for. Marvel wanted to use the name Captain Mar-vell. It's a natural, obviously. After the court battles between DC Comics and Fawcett ceased publication of the Captain Mar-vell, and eventually Marvel Comics got the trademark. But Captain Mar-vell was used the name was used a couple other times as well in between that time period. And another major character in this is Namor the Submariner. And he was created by writer-artist Bill Everett, and first appeared in Marvel Comics number 1, October 1939. Actually, I guess he had one previous appearance shortly before that, but with a different publisher. And he is a Prince of Atlantis, Atlantean human hybrid, and a mutant. They had to add that later, I guess. And it was part of the Invaders and the All-Winter Squad in World War II. And he became an antagonist of the Air Breathers, that's us, and an anti-hero. And later he was part of the Defenders and the Avengers and had a bunch of other affiliations. And he was the monarch, off and on, of Atlantis. He's been a hero and a villain. He even had a title, Superhero Team Up, way back when, in which he was teamed up with Dr. Doom. So, but he was always a hero for Atlantis. So his so-called villainy was in what he saw in the interests of Atlantis. Um, I forgot I was going to tell you something else. Oh, yeah. Now, um, although very similar to DC's Aquaman, of course, they're not the same, and Aquaman is much better known. But the Submariner has appeared just shortly, just like 2 or 3 months before Aquaman made his first appearance. So they were basically created at the same time, and basically the same origin. But they're not the same, because he's got pointed ears, like a pointy, triangular shaped head, pointy chin, and wings on his heels, so he can fly. And we'll see that. So, let's go get into Captain Mar-vell number 4. Marvel's spaceborne superhero, Captain Mar-vell. Enter the Submariner. Very cool, dynamic pose. Cover illustration by Colan. Still smoking my pipe, but it went out. Okay. As you can see, this is a pretty rough copy. I bought this just a few years ago. Secondhand, and it was cheap. But I liked the character. So when I can, I get these photos. Now, I didn't tell you much about the writer and artists there. Just because, well, you can see here, Stan Lee, editor, Roy Thomas, writer, who I talked about previously with the Invaders. He was a former school teacher, got into comic writing, and eventually took Stan Lee's place as editor-in-chief later. And the artist, Colan. And he's a great artist. Had some beautiful work. Some stuff a little bit rough, but sometimes I think that's more the inking. He has worked for decades. He did lots for Mar-vell, and I want to talk more about him at another time. But he later did some Batman and Wonder Woman. The most recent stuff I've seen from him was just a few years ago, doing Archie comics, and it was beautiful Archie comics. Now, he has beautiful pencils, and I think the inking kind of diminishes the beauty of some of his pencils. In the 80s, he did a short-lived series for another publisher called Detective Inc. Incorporated, in which they didn't even bother with inking. Said when he turned in his pencils, said they're just so beautiful, inking will just diminish it. Which I think is true. I mean, it's beautiful pencils when he did that. Okay, here we go. Captain Mar-vell, the alien and the amphibian, and here is Captain Mar-vell in his hotel room. All these guys are always worried about something. To those who dwell on Earth, the name Captain Mar-vell is that of a hero. Yet only I, of all who walk this planet, know the mind-wrenching truth that it may one day be my hand which signals the fatal attack upon an unsuspecting sphere. Yes, Captain Mar-vell, he's been a superhero, acting as a superhero, but he's actually a scout for the Kree Empire, and from a ship invisibly orbiting around Earth. And he has a commander there who is both observing and directing him. And because he is there, Mar-vell is here to prepare for an invasion. And he's torn by that. And here he is, But no, I am a loyal Kree, a member of the intergalactic fleet. Nothing must deter me from carrying out my mission. Nothing! And then he smashes it. That's that there. Oh, that's a beautiful, beautiful figure. And the way he did that. And the inker on this was, who was the inker? Vince Coletta. Yeah, Vinny Coletta. He inked a lot of stuff, and he sometimes is known for taking shortcuts and sometimes eliminating some stuff just to make his inking job easier and quicker. Okay, and here is someone's at the door, and here he is in his costume, so he hurries up, puts on a coat to hide it, and it's the son of the manager of the motel he's staying at, and he says, "Oh, I heard a crash." He says, "No, everything's all fine. I hope you didn't hurt yourself." "Well, the reason I come up is you got a phone call from the Cape, and all our lines were tied up." So, see, when he says that with the Cape, at this time, okay, this is 1968, and Mar-vell is using the identity of Dr. Lawson, and he is a missile engineer, scientist. So there's another really good figure. He also had new creative ways of minimizing his linear perspective without diminishing the quality of his work, which was still leaving good dramatic, good backgrounds. And so here is the flashback. "Is this the price which the eternal Kree must pay for interstellar security, the life of an innocent man?" He's talking about this guy's father, who because he was injured, and the life of an innocent man who may even know that his planet is being watched by strangers from the stars. And then have a flashback to a previous issue when the Captain Mar-vell was engaged in battle with the Super Skrull, who was an enemy of the Fantastic Four. And this guy was injured in that encounter. But Mar-vell saved him. So here he is, taking a taxi, going to the Cape, blah, blah, blah. And here we see Carol Danvers, the character we know as Captain Mar-vell. She wasn't a pilot, Air Force pilot, or anything like that here. She's almost like a secretary, but she was a little more than that. And talking with the general, largely about Mar-vell. And then we change scenes to somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. Here's the Submariner, and he's swimming towards. See, here's a beautiful figure here. This was used in many ads. There's a couple of images here that was used in ads and stuff, house ads. There's a nice, very, very dramatic and beautifully drawn figure. And here, beautiful face. Now, a lot of this face is Vince Coletta. He did beautiful women's faces in his ink because he did a lot of the romance comics. And they're getting ready for a test launch of a missile, and Dr. Lawson just gets her just in time. And they talk about the thing they're on this test launch. They've got some bacteria in these cases that are going to be in this rocket going up into space and exposed to cosmic rays to see what happens to it. Now, unfortunately, it wouldn't have a story if it didn't do this. But this bacteria, this is a deadly bacteria. Well, of course, they wouldn't use a deadly bacteria for a test like this. But then you wouldn't have a story. It's kind of silly. Then they launch. That's a nice one, showing both the power and the speed. Of course, launch is very slow. Rockets are very slow at their initial launch, but they built a bit. Now especially these two here, must have been from photo reference, because they look just like some of the images of. You see the long range images of rocket downrange. It looks like they're going down when they're not. They're going up, but they're going over the curve of the Earth. Then something happens, and the missile plunges back to Earth, nearly taking out this boat and crew. Now, nice little water. The water right there. Nice, good, dramatic image. But use that water, beautiful water, and nice detail on the boat. Looks realistic. Whether he used photo reference or not, can't really tell. And here's the Kree ship and his commander. What's his name? Ron Yog, or something like that. Yeah, Yonrog. He was villain in the Captain Mar-vell movie. The one who Carol Danvers wound up kicking his butt at the end. So they're come down. So they're rushing to New York because it crashed just off of New York, and because they're concerned that bacteria gets loose, it could kill millions. So and then here they are on a naval ship, a destroyer, sleek destroyer. Again, another nice drawing, good photo reference. And then we flash back to Namor, and he's coming, but he's on his way not to do bad. He wants to. He's on his way to see Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four to talk about something. So he's not in any way at the moment being antagonistic against the surface world. Another real nice. His face here is almost like a Jack Kirby face. Real nice panel. A lot of dialogue in this. Can only be Colonel Jan Rog. Dr. Lawson, do you suppose that the Atlantean had anything to do with... That's funny. He was here beside me only a moment ago. Because Namor came to the surface and was going to tell them about the crashed missile or whatever. He changes to Captain Mar-vell and hits the water. And first thing they do, of course, is start fighting. Because he says, Prince Namor, I'm Captain Mar-vell. You must leave the area at once, because he was under orders. Remember, he was under orders to not let anyone, because he found out about that it was the Kree who caused that missile to crash. And he was under orders not to let anybody interfere with the release of that bacteria, because they were conducting an experiment. Well, there's Namor again. One down. Of course, he can't. Mar-vell can't talk underwater. But wait, the one called Captain Mar-vell pursues me. Do not attack, Costumed One. I wish but to help. Still, he swims towards me. But for what purpose? Yeah. Boom. Another Mar-vell must perform. Yeah. Another great image, which was used in some of their advertising. Very, very dramatic and very powerful. It's all one big splash page, and then they're just fighting underwater. Boom, boom. But Captain Mar-vell is torn because he can't not fulfill his mission, but he doesn't want to. He really doesn't want to. He wants to save him. So here's another good image that has been used in some of their advertising. Some great stuff in this. Good image. Very dramatic. And here they're still fighting. Well, he comes up. There they are right next to the missile. Yeah. Right next to, at the bottom of the ocean. And he comes up with a scheme here while they're fighting. Blocks him out. And then gets to the surface so that he can speak, and he says, "Made it now. Namor, listen to me. The germs will be ejected free within a short time. Let them, that your air-breathing enemies may die. Die? No, I am a prince of the blood, not a craven murderer. Winter City's destruction might have been my foremost goal, but now it must not perish while Namor lives. The seed is planted, but my ruse is not yet complete," because he knows Yonrog is observing all this. So he told Namor the situation, but trying to, as if to keep him away. So Namor breaks in, gets in. He's going to get rid of the stuff. While in there, they're still fighting, but he's only half-heartedly fighting. Mar-vell is, that is. And In the process, the self-destruct switch happens. They get out of there just in time. Kablooey! And so Mar-vell is good with his commander, and he managed to save him, to save New York. No sign of Namor anywhere about. He must have escaped and felt there was little use in continuing our battle royal. How ironic that in the eyes of any who witnessed the struggles, I seemed the hero and Namor the would-be killer. It's almost a joke. To the Earthmen, Captain Mar-vell is a hero. To his merciless fellow Kree, an expendable secret agent. And to himself, perhaps the most tormented being in the far-flung galaxies. Next issue. What is the Metazoid? I have no idea. I don't have that. I probably do because I have the reprint of the Essential Captain Mar-vell. This is also printed in there. So, and that's, look at all the, look, 4 pages, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of text and ads right in a row. Here it is in Spectacular Spider-Man, which was an oversized black and white magazine. They only published 1 issue of that. And then several years ago, they did a square-bound reprint of it. It was nice, beautiful John Romita art in that. And a humor title, Not Brand X, which is basically parodying their own stuff. And here, the Silver Surfer #1. John Buscema did that cover. Beautiful stuff. Yes, that's it. Short and sweet. Some really nice artwork. I like it. He does this old guy, person over the shoulder thing like this. These are common type panel designs for Gene Colan, and they work so well. The way he's able to compose it, because he was very good at this kind of drawing, just regular people. And it's good for the detective stuff, and he's very good in the in horror genre. His stuff is especially good for gothic horror, which we'll talk about another time when I get to that. Yes, and nice briskly paced Roy Thomas story. Of course, a few things in there, like they wouldn't use deadly bacteria for that experiment, but then they wouldn't have a story. And that's it. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe if you have. Share it with any other friends that you may have who like comic books, comic history. That's what I like, is comic history. I like a lot of the old stuff. I like to break down the artwork. Remember, comics are art.